From the outside, this house in Serbia looks like a regular apartment building.
Yeah.
The kind you'd walk past without giving it a second glance. But if you step into the garage and slip through this tiny hidden hatch leading down into the basement, suddenly, you're standing in an eerie white room. Well, white except for these small stains on the walls.
I fucking got it.
The floor is covered with dark tiles, and at the back of the room stands a large machine. This room is used by the Balkan Mafia. They kidnap their enemies and bring them here, allegedly torturing and killing them. But bodies are evidence, so they make sure there isn't any, reportedly with the help of an industrial meat grinder.
I think their motto was that if there's no body, there will never be possible to prosecute us.
This is the story of one of Europe's most notorious crime networks and their human slaughterhouse. Their alleged ties to Serbia's elites, and an ingenious takedown by relentless investigators.
What the heck? Eee! Hold on, this about to be a good video. Shout out to animators, man. Can't do it without y'all. Holy fuck, I feel like I'm watching a movie.
Trigger warning. This video contains graphic descriptions of violence as well as references to disturbing material. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah.
Much of what we know about this case stems from an indictment by the Prosecutor's Office for Organized Crime in Serbia, as well as reporting by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project and the Serbian investigation portal Creek. Their work has been crucial in uncovering this story. You can find links in the description.
Bet.
Chances are you'd struggle to find Serbia on a map. It's a landlocked country, south of Hungary, next to Romania. Roughly 6.5 million people live here. Politically, it's run by the right-wing SNS party. Aleksandar Vučić has been president since 2017. On the streets of Serbia, the Balkan Mafia has a strong presence. Two clans play a major role, the Kavač and the Škaljari. Their story begins in a neighboring country.
Kotor is one of the most beautiful towns in Montenegro.
This is Stevan Dojčinović. He's the editor-in-chief of the Serbian investigative portal Creek.
They have really has a huge old town, which is really nice, and it's popular tourist area.
So calm.
And there's a lot of basically sailors that actually coming from this town.
In the 2000s, a single criminal group called the Kotor clan operated here. It was under the rule of drug lord Darko Šarić.
That nigga's
For more
a
than
drug
a decade,
lord?
he
Holy
controlled a
fuck.
significant share of the cocaine trade into Europe, until he was arrested in 2014. And after a cocaine deal went wrong in Spain, the group split into two clans, the Kavač and the Škaljari, named after two villages in the region. These two clans don't just operate in Montenegro. They're active across the Balkans and traffic drugs all over Europe.
So basically the role of Balkan organized crime group is to transport big amounts of drugs from South America to Europe, and then usually they sell these drugs to European gangs. They will not deal with distributions.
The Kavač and the Škaljari are locked in a violent conflict. This basically means they're hunting each other down.
I cannot even count it anymore, but it was definitely more than 100 murders were connected in this war of these two gangs. More than 100, definitely. And then in different countries, they found groups to join one on another side. Like in Bosnia, some of the Bosnian criminal groups joined more like Škaljari, others joined the Kavač gang.
Yeah.
As a result, the conflict between the Montenegrin clans has spilled over into neighboring countries: Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia, and Serbia.
In Serbia, they were looking for like local Serbian allies. They found, and as one of their most important allies in Serbia was this criminal group around Belivuk.
As you may have noticed, we've added this disclaimer to our videos. With generative AI on the rise, we want you to know there's a real team building these animations and researching and writing these stories.
Facts.
We don't think AI should ever replace human creativity and effort. In our view, if used correctly and prudently, it can simply be a useful supportive tool. Merlin AI is an all-in-one AI.
Oh, it's an ad. I thought they were just fucking saying that AI is
now web searches
not
and
being
everything
used.
code discount. In Belgrade stadiums, hooligans set the tone. Loud, aggressive, and powerful. One of them is Veliko Belivuk. In 2016, he's a member of a hooligan group called Janičari.
They were a football hooligan group who suddenly appear out of the blue and become very important on the stadium of football club Partizan.
CCTV footage shows Belivuk and others beating the bodyguard of the director of FC Partizan.
What the fuck?
After Yanichadi's leader is murdered, Belivuk takes over. According to the New York Times, he renames the group Principi because he acts on principle. But the name also carries an association with Gavrilo Princip, a nationalist whose assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria set off World War I. Over time, Belivuk transforms. He's no longer just a leader of hooligans.
He became one of the top allies of Kavac gang.
Principi begins to operate as a major outpost for the Kavac.
What the fuck?
In 2020, the war between the Kavac and the Shkoljari is still raging. Belivuk and his group play their part in the war on Serbian soil. And they come up with an idea, one that takes the violence to a whole new level. They start looking for a place to kill and destroy the evidence.
They found a house which was very close to the river, on the outskirts of the Belgrade.
This building will become their slaughterhouse.
Oh.
Inside, they set up a torture chamber. This is where they'll bring their victims, mostly members of rival gangs.
So it's really perfectly hidden. Inside of the house was like normal house. But if you manage to open this wall, then you have small corridor. And then what waits you under the stairs will be like a big room, which will be usually wrapped into the plastic, prepared for the murder, and with one chair. That's all. For me, more scary part than this was actually how they were like bringing victims. Most of these people actually lured inside of the house.
One of the victims is a man we'll call Luka Maric, not his real name. He's a leader of a rival...
That sounds like Luka Modric, bro. Yo, leave my dog Modric out of here, bro. World-class midfielder.
Partisan hooligan group and an important associate of a man called Filip Korac.
Now, Filip Korac is an important organized crime figure from the Serbia who sided with Shkaljar gang.
That means Luka has ties to the enemy. In August 2020, his wife is making dinner and feeding their 2 babies. Luka heads out to buy guns.
He was afraid for his life that moment, so he kind of felt something could happen. He wanted to buy new guns, most likely in order to better protect himself.
According to the indictment, he meets a friend he trusts on a dirt road beside an empty field. Luka doesn't know it yet, but his friend has betrayed him. The meeting is a trap. Belivuk and his gang are waiting for him.
Their modus operandi will be to find the person which is very close to you, which then they will make to shift the sides and start working with them. And then they will use somebody you trust to actually lure you. So this happened in this case.
They jump him, tie him up, and take him to the slaughterhouse.
They just like pay
Then
his
they drag him
friend or
inside, force him to unlock his phone, and go through his contacts.
The first moment he understood that basically he's done.
According to the indictment, Belivuk and his gang begin to torture him. Afterwards, they behead Luka with an axe.
They use his blood to write on his back, Korac, which was kind of basically a message for his boss, Filip Korac.
What
Then
the
Belivuk
fuck?
and his gang send a photo of the scene to Luka's boss. One of the messages reads,
"Tick-tock, tick-tock, this is how you'll end up. We'll catch you."
What the
According to prosecutors, after that, Luka's body is cut into pieces and put through the industrial meat grinder.
What
The remains end up
fuck?
in bags and are dumped into the Danube.
River was the kind of final stage of dismantling the body, which started inside of the house when they were basically chopped the bodies and grind them through this machine until they literally become, let's say, liquid in a way, because then this liquid basically throwing in the river, which fishes eat. So literally, there was not even like small bone, anything that could be found.
Then the bags, along with the victims' clothes and belongings, are burned.
They decide to run the slaughterhouse because they believe that's the most efficient way to
Bro,
kill
this is not even like how like the Italian mafia moves, like in like America and shit. Like they would do shit very clean. Like you won't even know what's going on. No like axe. It'll be like a silenced fucking gun. Back of the head, dismantle the guy. This is like chop him up, right fucking blood on his back, grind the nigga in a fucking grinder, make him look like piece of ground beef, dog, and put him in a river.
people and not leave the traces.
Holy
In
fuck.
the end, the whole thing was about efficiency and hiding any traces. And actually, it was efficient in a way that till today, no body was recovered. I think their motto was that if there's no body, there will never be possible to prosecute us.
Luka is
yeah.
neither the only nor the last alleged victim of Belivuk and his group. Zdravko Radojevic was lured in a similar way, with the promise of buying a gun. The prosecutor claims he also ended up in the meat grinder. And then there's Milan Lapoja.
Milan Lapoja was the highest level criminal who was killed in the slaughterhouse. He was like some old school mafia guy.
He first made headlines in 2007. Back then, he was part of a group of notorious jewel thieves known as the Pink Panthers.
It's like the group that Hollywood movies were made about.
Their Dubai job, the Wafi Mall heist, was legendary. In just 170 seconds, they stole millions in jewelry and sped off in their Audis. But Interpol eventually caught up with them.
Bro, they're from. That's where the Pink Panther's from? Like the movie? What the fuck?
DNA evidence linked Lapoja to the heist. He was ultimately arrested and sentenced to 9 years in prison. After that, he returned to his hometown in Serbia and got in bed with the Shkaljadi clan. By 2020, he had a new job.
He took role in one attempt to murder the leader of Kavač gang, Radoje Zvicer, in Ukraine. He was shot a couple of times, but he managed to survive.
Lapoja was allegedly involved in planning the attempted killing. Now the Kavač clan wants revenge. Like Luka, Lapoja feels threatened. He starts looking for extra protection and considers buying an armored car. Belivuk and his gang hear about that and lure him into a trap.
And they call him to come to this house in Ritopek.
Instead of buying a car, he too ends up in their torture room.
And it's interesting how he reacted. So he was down in this chamber. He saw they came with the axe to chop him. He reacted in a way like, well, what do you do? He said, like, this is very bizarre. I'm not for this kind of stuff. Like he said, I'm for like, we can do fist fighting, we can shoot with the guns, but this thing, no. And this is really interesting because you can see really kind of big difference between his older generation, these new young guys were like kind of very much brutal even.
Stevan calls Belivuk and his group a millennial mafia, a generation of criminals that doesn't just kill but turns violence into a spectacle. And though Lapoja fights for his life, there's no escape. But how do we know all of this? Time to talk about Sky. Sky Global was founded in Canada in 2008. The company runs an encrypted messaging network, and it sells phones that come with this ultra-secure network pre-installed. A lot of users switched to Sky phones after a similar encrypted phone provider was taken over and then shut down by the authorities.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't.
The camera.
That's crazy though. If you think about it, I didn't know they could do that.
Time to talk about
What's going
Sky.
on, Jada?
Sky Global was founded in Canada in 2008.
Yeah.
The company runs an encrypted messaging network, and it sells phones that come with this ultra-secure network pre-installed. A lot of users switched to Sky phones after a similar encrypted phone provider was taken over and then shut down by the authorities.
What the
The
fuck?
camera, microphone, and GPS are all disabled in Sky phones. The encrypted messenger Sky ECC is hidden inside the calculator app. Users access it by entering a specific
I had
code.
an app like this.
And then you use your...
Bro, in high school, I had an app like this, but it was like for photos, bro. Like, so it was like a calculator app, but for photos, bro. Yo, that's fucking some freaky ass shit now that I think about it, bro. Just woke up. What the fuck?
your
Was he taking a
nickname that you
nap?
create to communicate with other nicknames through this Sky network. So it was basically way how basically criminals can speak.
Bro, that's crazy.
You can choose for your messages to automatically delete. If the phone isn't used for a certain period of time, it'll erase itself. There are also features like a panic password and a kill switch. The phones can be accessed remotely to instantly wipe all data from them.
Bro, that's crazy.
The company is so confident in its privacy protections that it offers $5 million to anyone who can break their encryption within 90 days. Sky phones are perfect for people who value privacy above all else,
That's crazy.
and they're quite popular with criminals. You can't just walk into a store and buy one. They're distributed through a complex network of distributors and lower-level resellers. This man, known as the Smiling Butcher, claims he was one of them.
What the
So
fuck?
he literally worked for the
Bro, that's
Sky company
crazy that they actually have
and
things
selling
like
their,
that, bro.
their phones.
It's
No,
unclear
bro,
whether he
actually.
worked for Sky
What?
Global in any official capacity, but he's the tech guy for Belly
Oh, like
Book's
you,
principal-
like not like you've like slept since the last night, but like you tried to go to bed and then you just woke up.
CP Hooligan Group, and he makes sure they conduct their business via the Sky network. Belivuk and his henchmen share messages and photos in group chats on Sky ECC. They think they're safe, but they aren't. In the late 2010s, police find more and more Sky phones in the hands of criminals, so they begin investigating the network behind them. Authorities in the Netherlands and France discover that the global Sky communications network mainly runs through two servers. They're both located in a data center of the hosting company OVH in northern France.
Yeah.
French authorities install an IP tap on the servers to monitor their traffic. The traffic is encrypted, so they can't read messages yet. But analysts find a way to copy the server's memory. Through that, they obtain an encryption certificate. Using that certificate, French, Belgian, and Dutch authorities develop a method to decrypt Sky ECC's communications.
Yeah.
This allows them to read the user's messages.
Yo.
In 2021, a joint team of European law enforcement agencies gets to work. They spend several weeks reading Sky chats in real time. It's a rare moment. To them, it feels like standing outside in the dark, peeking inside a house, when suddenly, someone turns on the lights. More than that, it feels as if they're suddenly sitting at the dinner table with the criminals. The authorities intercept approximately 1 billion messages.
What?
According to law enforcement, about 170,000 Sky phones are registered worldwide. Each month, roughly 70,000 users actively communicate on the platform. Some are located in the Americas, but most are in Europe. About a quarter of all active users are based in Belgium and the Netherlands. Many of their messages, police say, cluster around one specific place, the port of Antwerp.
What the hell?
We've already made a video about how Antwerp's port has become Europe's main gateway for cocaine, and how cartels recruit miners to break into containers and retrieve drugs for them. But a lot of other messages the authorities read come from an entirely different region,
Serbia.
the Balkans.
Yeah.
They also stumble upon the communications of Belivuc and his gang, and what they uncover is horrifying. The prosecution has collected the nicknames that the criminals used in the app. In one of the chats, Belivuc, using his nickname Soprano, writes,
I can't wait to strangle him.
and
See, honey? Mexico in the middle of Belgrade.
even when he's not around, he seems to be asking his men to describe the torture at length.
Don't skip those juicy details for me.
In the chats, Soprano approves kidnappings and killings with short messages.
We're for it.
The smiling butcher writes,
He has already lost a finger and is badly ruined. But the idiot thinks he will get out. I've already skinned him well.
and
What the fuck?
Boom. Mar hits him in the head. He got a brutal beating by them, bro. He was already seriously unconscious. Afterwards, bro, he was all black. He didn't resist much, didn't cry, nothing. He was in terrible shock.
the authorities see all the pictures the gang shares in their chats.
Bro, what the
Screenshots
fuck?
of Bitcoin transfers to pay off hitmen, fake identity documents, bundles of cash, weapons, shipments of cocaine, and disturbing photos of torture.
Bro,
Police
what
can
the
see all this evidence because Belivuc and his gang didn't delete the photos.
Because, you know, the Sky is a system.
I would have been had my shit on delete after 24 hours, like on some Instagram shit, you know what
Every
I'm saying?
month basically cleans everything. So in order to save these photos, in the end of the month, they were always sending them to somebody from inside of the gang just to keep them saved. So they really wanted to keep these messages. It's weird, but in a way, how they found the house, how they built the house, with this secret corridor, how the careful was not to leave any traces, that they did everything like so carefully there, and they were like taking and saving these photos was major evidence.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
That's kind of really interesting element to the whole thing.
French authorities inform the Serbian police about the chats. As a result, Belivuc and part of his gang are arrested. They're charged with criminal association, multiple aggravated murders, drug and arms trafficking, kidnapping, and rape. Hundreds more alleged criminals are arrested in other raids across Europe. In Belgium, more than 100 people are convicted in the country's biggest drug trial ever. Sky Global's CEO, Jean-François Ypes, and former distributor Thomas Herdman were indicted in both the US and France. In the US, Ypes and Herdman are accused of knowingly and intentionally participating in a criminal enterprise that facilitated drug trafficking. In a statement and in an interview with Motherboard, the CEO said that law enforcement was trying to vilify anyone who pushed back against unwarranted surveillance. According to him, the encrypted chat platform existed for one reason: to protect the fundamental right to privacy.
Yeah.
After the arrests, the police searched the house in Riedepec. They entered the garage, climbed through the hidden hatch, opened the door, and found evidence of the bloodbath that took place there. The industrial meat grinder, a groove cut into the tiled floor running from one side to the other, several stains on the walls, on the door, next to a radiator, on the tap, and on the light switches. The smiling butcher cut a deal with the authorities. Based on his testimony and the DNA found in the room, authorities believe that at least 7 people were killed in the slaughterhouse.
Way
The
more.
arrest of Belivuc and his group was celebrated as a major victory for the Serbian authorities, and it also caught the attention of politicians.
Danas smo razgovarali o razbijanju kriminalne bande Belivuk Miljković i sa velikim ponosom mogu da kažem da je ova banda razbijena.
Dakle, ono što je naša poruka. Sa ovom bandom smo završili.
The Serbian president seemed very pleased that Belivuc and his gang had been arrested. Yet he himself is accused of having enabled figures like Belivuc to operate under quiet protection for years.
What?
In 2006, Montenegro broke away from Serbia after a popular vote. The Serbian government under President Tadic followed reformist center-left policies. But ever since Aleksandar Vučić became president in 2017, he's been running the country more like an autocracy. Freedom of expression is limited. Corruption is rampant. The growing frustration with the government has fueled repeated protests over the years. At the beginning of Vučić's first presidency, demonstrations against dictatorship erupted. A year later, another wave of protests followed after an opposition politician was brutally attacked by a group of hooded men. In 2023, a school shooting sparked the Serbia Against Violence protests. And in 2024, the canopy at a freshly renovated train station in Novi Sad collapsed, killing 16 people.
And the reason for this is corruption, because of the corruption, everything was badly done.
The train station was meant to showcase Serbia's progress, but instead became a symbol of everything going wrong in the country. Huge student-led protests aimed directly at Vučić's government erupted across the country. The authorities responded with violent crackdowns. In the year after the tragedy, more than 80 journalists were physically attacked. Vučić doesn't hesitate to deploy police forces against anti-government protesters. But according to Stevan, he's also using
Organized crime figures which he's bringing against the protesters. We have government who basically cooperates with organized crime.
Fuck. I mean, that's
It's
how it was back in the day
2017.
in America, too.
2 years before they used the slaughterhouse. A murder shakes Serbia's
What are you
capital,
watching?
and Belivuc is caught
the
up in
insane
it.
story of Serbia's
The police
human
arrest him
slaughterhouse.
and
It's
s-
basically like about like the Serbian mafia and how they like kind of operated and stuff a little bit.
Sees his phone.
And they found
I like this
very
kind of
interesting
stuff.
WhatsApp messages
I like
inside.
mafia shit and
These
like drugs
chats
and
end up
stuff.
in the hands of journalists who start digging through them. They revealed that Belivuc has some powerful contacts.
We found that actually Belivuc in that time was in direct contact with one really important member of Serbian gendarmerie.
That's a specially trained paramilitary unit within the Serbian police.
This is his photo from army, but from army he moved to the police and he became one of the top persons in Serbian gendarmerie. And they were like daily, every day communicating. And we see from the messages basically he was approving and advising Belivuc what to do. Belivuc will say, I need to go after these guys. And he say like, no, keep quiet or do this, do this.
This member
What
of
the
the
fuck?
Serbian gendarmerie, according to the messages Creek has seen, effectively acted as Belivuc's superior. And from him, the trail led further up the chain.
This gendarme guy, this police guy was informing about everything. A person he calls Diana. Diana Krkalovic was general secretary of Serbian police, which means after the minister, she was number 2 in the police.
And according to
Damn.
Stevan, this top secretary of the police was informed about everything the police officer and Belivuc discussed. But it doesn't end there.
When something really important is to decide, a police officer will say that besides Diana, also the boss and big boss are informed. They never mention who boss and big boss are, but following the logic of hierarchy, boss can only be like minister of police, which was Najboljša Stefanovic, a big boss could be just President Vučić, who was top of everything.
Belivuc himself later
that's
testified
crazy.
that his gang was organized for the needs and by the order of Aleksandar Vučić.
Through
What
his
the
testimony, Belivuc explained all the favors that he was doing to the government and actually telling why it's important for the Serbian government always to have control over these football hooligan groups.
According to Belivuc, his gang would intimidate anti-government protesters. During football games, they would stop fans from chanting against the president.
Also, when Vučić making his own protests, he will bring hooligans to have bigger number in there. So literally government was using them some sort of like street force.
The president denies all the allegations and says he never met Belivuc.
What we believe that happened is that
Hey, you probably
when
never met the
the
nigga,
French
don't mean you
police
didn't talk
entered
to
the sky phones, and when they found all these pictures and videos of the violence, torturing, dismantling bodies. That, and when the Serbia was informed, we believe that President Vučić understood that he cannot any longer work with the Belivu group because he understood this is like become international issue, is big. So for this reason, we believe that eventually he basically arrested Belivu gang.
Belivuk and parts of his gang are off the streets, at least for now. But the system that backed them is still in place. Police officials that instruct thugs and work closely together with them. And a president who's accused of using hooligans to silence his people. So far, almost no politicians or police officers have been brought to court in connection with this case.
President, he controls the whole police, prosecution, everything, and in these terms, it's not possible that you have top officials to be prosecuted.
Here in the center of Belgrade is the Serbian president's office.
And in front of his office is one big park. And it was a really nice park before, but what the president did, he created some sort of camp there, and inside our camp, where he brought a lot of these criminals.
What the fuck?
Stevan and his team at Creek identified many of them as members of organized crime, people with long police records of violence and drug smuggling. And according to Stevan, the president uses these criminals as guards of a sort in front of his office.
So the protester can never really come very close to him.
We asked the Serbian president for a statement, but didn't receive a response.
So the whole point is the Belivu group is out, but I mean, the modus is still there. And until we have this sort of government now and our president on power, nothing will change. He always bringing these guys, he will encourage organized crime structures, helping them, because he also have this value from them because
Bro,
he will protect
insane,
them on other way.
Bro, the president is using gang members to protect himself. What the fuck, bro? Hey, I actually really enjoy watching Fern's videos, bro. I can't lie. That nigga be making this shit look like movies, bro. The Serbian guy explaining everything has some balls.